Okay, module 4. Let's start with something that might sound crazy to you. In this workshop, it's always very controversial. The smarter the leaders, the dumber the society becomes. What a controversial statement. Sounds wrong? Now, we all have been told we need wise, clever, highly educated leaders, highly paid leaders to guide us. But Lao Tzu flips the idea upside down in chapter 19, which we're going to talk about in this module 4. In this module, we are going to tear apart the idea that more cleverness equal more progress and see why simplicity, purity, and fewer desires might be the ultimate smartness. Let's hit this straight now. Lao Tzu in Tao Te Ching chapter 19 says, stop worshipping smart people and chasing clever ideas. And the people will be 100 times better off. Okay, so 决胜气质哈，名利百倍哈。So basically means stop chasing after smart people. Now it may sound crazy. Is he saying intelligence is bad? Not at all. Okay, not at all. What he's really warning against is the ego trap of looking smart. There are people out there who always want to put on the front, want to look smart, but actually may not be smart. Maybe or may not be smart. The type people get praised once and suddenly they are inflating themselves, dropping important advice here and there, everywhere, insisting that everyone follow their plans. And guess what? A lot of time, most people aren't listening. They just don't care. You think about it. How many times have you seen someone at work constantly correct everyone else, share brilliant solutions? Is it brilliant? Or post on social media online proving how clever they are. And what happened? People scroll past and then they will just tune out. So your wisdom, your clever ideas, they only work when shared with humility. Thank you very much, making use of their smartness, their intelligence to fulfill their desires, and some desires are undesired desires. So remember when Trump repeatedly claimed 53 times, according to fact checks, that he could end the Ukraine war in 24 hours? But very smart, right? Wow, how Biden also couldn't do that. How could he have so smart, so clever, so intelligent to be able to end the Ukraine war in 24 hours? It's not a joke. It's not a one-off thing that he said that. He loudly promised the world something monumental when he was campaigning for the presidential seat. Now, let's see what Lao Tzu say in chapter 19, right? He was saying, don't blindly follow this kind of smartness, right? And people will benefit 100-fold, right? And I think it's quite true, looking at this example here. So it's not that wisdom or action is bad. The warning is about ego and fanfare. Trump's loud proclamation are a textbook example of what Lao Tzu cautioned us against. Overemphasizing yourself, insisting others must listen, and trying to control perception. That means creating a lot of narratives that's not the truth. And the true lesson here is, we should go for quiet competence. We should go for humility. We should go for results. These create trust and lasting impact. Now, in contrast, last year during the National Day Rally 2025 speech, our PM, Lawrence Wong, said we will mark new milestones not with loud fanfare, but with quiet confidence. Or when I hear this statement, I was quietly happy. I thought he knew the Tao. I thought he was very aligned with the Tao. Right? So actually, this is what Lao Tzu is trying to say in chapter 19. It's not about rejecting intelligence or achievement. It's about rejecting the needs to show off, to be the loudest, to force something, to force people around you to notice you. Not that. Real influence doesn't shout. No need to shout. You just have to work quietly. Okay, work quietly, work steadily, and work confidently. Think of countries, leaders, or innovators who quietly deliver results. No grandstanding, no constant self-promotion, and their impacts last because people trust them, not because they constantly demand attention. So stop feeling the need to prove yourself with noise. Let your work, your result, your integrity speaks for themselves. So quiet confidence create far more lasting benefit for you and for those around you. Singapore used to be like that, quiet confidence. They just do things in the background, very quiet, then pum, result shows. Best passport in the world, something like that. Best seaport in the world, something like that. Huh? But recently I noticed that we are getting louder and louder, and people are starting criticizing our leaders. I'm not sure whether this is good or bad, but this is definitely not the quiet confidence, the quiet achievement that Lao Tzu says. Lao Tzu say the people will be 100 times off. What does it mean? It just means very simple. Everyone has their own path. Your talents are yours. My talents is mine. Okay, so we don't need to interfere with each other. But think about today's world. From kindergarten, kids are taught to do the same things, say the same things, follow the same rules. So by the time they're in school, some kids are repeating exactly what adults say. And we praise that. We encourage that. Hey, Lao Tzu say that's not natural. Okay, that's not impressive at all. A child should speak like a child, an adult like an adult. And each phases of life is unique, is different. So stop trying to live like everyone else. Stop parroting the right words, the right popular path, or the expected lifestyle that people are expecting you to live. You don't have to. Your life doesn't need to be a copy of someone else. It only needs to be yours. So all you need to do is own it, speak your truth, live your rhythm. That's all. Then Lao Tzu also went on to say, stop showing off kindness and righteousness. People will naturally return to real care and compassion. Wow. Why is that? Stop showing off kindness and righteousness. Oh, okay. It's not about stop showing kindness and righteousness. The keyword is showing off. Stop showing off kindness and righteousness. And then people will naturally return to real care and compassion. You think about that. Why do people often fail to show true care or respect? Because they are taught too much about being good, about being righteous, and all of it ends up very fake. Take parenting today. A kid is rushing out the door, anxious about school, and the people and the parents demand say, "Hey, you never say thank you, or you never say goodbye, or you never say what." So these are forced behavior. I'm not saying bad. I'm saying that you force too much, then it become fake. Eve is saying end up to fulfill the expectation only. That's right. But I'm not saying it's wrong to teach the right values to the children, but forcing it down like a drill can backfire. So that they just become fake compliance. You remember? That's why I talk about fake compliance. Okay. And it's not truly from the heart. And that's not what we want. Okay. Where was I? Okay. So that's not natural. The child will go for fake compliance, and the feeling is like being forced out. So that kind of respect or that kind of gratitude becomes very hollow. So Lao Tzu is saying, stop the forced behavior, stop the fake manners. When you stop imposing, real kindness and authentic respect will naturally emerge. Modern example. In companies, employee appreciation often become very performative. Best employee of the month, best employee of the day, whatever, become very fake. Agree or not? To me, I think it's very, very fake. Okay. People will become very, employee, especially like salesperson, they become very fake, and then they will smile at the customer and things like that. But if the customer don't buy, their face change straight away. So it's not from the heart, it's fake. So companies that quietly empower teams, trust them, and let genuine recognition flow naturally should see real engagement and loyalty. If say, but if don't teach the kids, don't return to real care and compassion, how? Okay, like I say they have their own Tao, but I'm not saying don't teach. I say don't force. Different, different, Not saying don't teach, but don't. I say don't force, because teaching there are many ways to teach, and the best way, Lao Tzu, I think in some of the modules I will share, is lead by examples. This is what Lao Tzu says. Thank you, Pei Pei. Lead by examples. That's right. This is also what Lao Tzu says, lead by examples. So stop demanding politeness as a checkbox, like checkbox. Oh, today you never say thank you to me. Oh, today you never say good morning to me, Thank you, Pei Pei. Quiet lesson. Oh, you learn the word. I love the word quiet lessons. Okay, no need to, like a checkbox like that, it must tick, 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 tick. You will bring up a fake compliance child or a fake compliance employee. Don't do that. So stop all the false righteousness. Focus on creating the condition where genuine care, genuine gratitude, genuine respect can, just arise on their own. True connection, doesn't need any script. It just happens. Okay, if you're filial to your mother, you're filial to your mother. You don't have to shout. You don't have people to force you to be filial. You naturally be filial. Oh, next line. Lao Tzu say, stop chasing cunning tricks and personal gain. Thieves will disappear. Think about that. A thief can be smart, can be resourceful, and can be very skilled, right? You know how to open lock. While normal people like me don't know how to open lock, pick a lock. I'm going to say open lock, pick a lock, okay? Or, they can be very resourceful, they can be very smart. And in many ways, maybe better than me and many other people, But they are thieves. They're doing all the wrong things. Just look at how easily someone can hack your phone, pick your lock, or even scam you online. So cleverness is not the problem. Misusing it for selfish gain is. I think someone mentioned just now is for their use. I think PayPay is it, or Eve saying something, I can't remember it. They're for their own use. This is wrong. Misusing your cleverness or intelligence for selfish gain is wrong. That is away from the Tao. You take Elon Musk, he used his cleverness to revolutionize electric cars and space travel, creating massive value for humanity. Space travel, I'm not too sure. Electric car, yes, definitely. Contrast that with the recent wave of AI scams where clever coders exploit loopholes for quick money. The skill is there, the knowledge is there, but the intention makes all the difference. So stop idolizing cleverness for profit alone. So don't misuse cleverness. Stop thinking how can I get ahead and start asking how can I use my skill to create real value and benefit others. That's why I go into this coaching line. Okay, is to use my skill, my knowledge to help others. So when we channel our intelligence and ingenuity for the greater good, society will benefit, other people will benefit, trust will grow, and success will come naturally too. So cleverness without conscience, without 良心, that's thieves. Okay, there's thieves, there's robbers, or there's scammers, waiting to happen. Now, Lao Tzu warned us the trap of wisdom. That's how we went through the trap of wisdom, the trap of virtue, the trap of cleverness. If these are used only as decoration, as a surface show, they are not enough. Soon enough, they will become shallow, they become childish, they become useless. True values comes only when these qualities are built on a real foundation. You look around today, many leaders, companies, even influencers decorate themselves with wisdom. I have a lot of certificates, so I am very wise. I'm very intelligent. Or decorate themselves with kindness, cleverness, but without substance. That means the foundation is not there. Surface without substance will collapse very fast. Let me cite 4 real life examples. There's this fast fashion retailer, Shein. Is this how it's pronounced? Shein was fined £1 million, euro, not pound, euro, by Italy's competition authority for misleading environmental claims about its evolution collection, specifically exaggerations about recyclability and sustainability. But it was found out that this claim is fake, very deceptive. Okay, and therefore he was fined. This company was imposed a fine. This showcased how clever marketing, okay, and that appeals to the virtue, lose all value when they are found out. Okay, when they are discovered that it's fake one, or lacking authentic substance or eco commitment. So if your what you're selling is not recyclability or for sustainability, then don't make that claim because the foundation is not there. And another example, Deutsche Bank's asset management arm DWS was fined 25 million euro for falsely portraying itself as a leader in ESG, environmental, social governance investing. Now, regulator found that this claim did not match the reality, so they were fined. Okay, so again, they didn't do all these things yet they claim they were all these things. So away from the town. Then in 2025, last year, Clorox Australia was also fined 8.25 million Australian dollar after the regulator found that that one of the product called Glad 50% ocean plastic recycled garbage bags were misleading also. Okay, so the plastic actually came from inland location, so not the ocean. So again, foundation is not there, but they claim they are. So once found out, again, it's away from the town. So think about just now that case study about the Bukit Canberra Hawker Center. Some hawkers are questioning why they should bear the burden of budget meals and apps discounts. On paper, because some scholars think of this, it looks like a great initiative, support the public, make food affordable. On surface, there's virtue on display. There's intelligence, there's wisdom on display. But if the system leaves the hawkers struggling with higher costs and thinner margins, then it's just surface decoration. There's no real substance, no real foundation at all. It cannot sustain. So this is a textbook case of superficial virtual signaling, presenting a noble cause like environmental sustainability lah, or public support lah, whatever. But while lacking the underlying authenticity, that means the foundation. So these cases that I've shared demonstrate how Lao Tzu's core insight applies today. When wisdom, virtue, and cleverness are deployed only as surface ornaments without genuine foundation, they are not just inadequate, they become very deceptive. And the result for businesses may be legal consequences, reputational damage, and public distrust. Last line, 老子 say, 见树跑普少思寡欲. See the pure, embrace simplicity, think less, desire less. What does that mean? It means human beings are born with a pure, untainted nature. Okay? When someone is in danger, like falling into a ditch, falling into a drain, collapse on the street, you don't need to ask the background or calculate the risk that you have if you help them. The right thing is just to act to help them, right? Right? I mean, this is nature instinct in everyone. The instinctive thing is to move forward to help wherever you can. Okay? So heard about this Lisbon Maru incident in 1942, I think around World War II. You want to hear this story? I'm using this story to illustrate the earlier point. You want to hear this story? Lisbon Maru. In Chinese, it's called what? 东极岛. In 1942, about 1,008 prisoners of war. These are the Allied prisoners of war. They were imprisoned on the Japanese military cargo liner. It's called the Lisbon Maru, to be transported from Hong Kong to Japan. They're prisoners of war. So after 3 days of smooth sailing, right, the vessel was torpedoed, by the USS Grouper. That means some Allied forces off the Dongji Island, Dongji Dao, part of Zhoushan archipelago in China eastern, should be Zhejiang province. Okay, so after the strike, the Japanese troop on board locked all the prisoner of wars, mostly British soldiers and airmen, inside the cargo room. Okay, and then they nailed the wood planks and canvas sheet across the entrance so that no one can leave the cargo room. Over the next 25 hours, as the Lisbon Maru was sinking because it was bombed by the Ally, the POWs, prisoner of war, did everything they could to save themselves. So after finally breaking free from the hole, they start jumping into the sea, okay, deep sea, where they came under fire from the Japanese captors. So Japanese find that, hey, they are escaping, so they want to shoot and kill all those prisoner of wars as they jump into the sea. Now, Dongji Island were fishermen. Okay, they saw that Chinese, they're Chinese, they sailed to the rescue in their sampan, saving some 300 over men from the brink of death, providing them with food, clothing, shelter. Okay. However, 800 over prisoner of war perished that day. I mean, died that day, either being shot at, or they are drowned, or dying, in that cargo hold because they didn't manage to escape. The Japanese military only began lifting the men from the water once the Chinese fishermen became witnesses to the atrocity. So this Lisbon Maru case ultimately, this ship ultimately sank beneath the wave of the island. Okay, so there's a story about this into a movie okay, called Dongji Dao. You can go and watch. Very sad. Very heroic also. So why did the fishermen acted the way they did? So here's a true question. Why did the fishermen acted the way they did? Remember, this World War II. China is under attack, under invaded, occupied by Japan. All right. Okay. And then the Western countries, they are also attacking the China, right? 八国联军, right? Okay. But when it comes to disasters like this, saving life, they didn't calculate profit. They didn't follow any complex rules. They just did what they did. So they acted simply naturally from the pure human heart. And this is what Lao Tzu says. Now, today, let's contrast that to today. Today, you look around us, doing good deeds has become riskier and riskier. I'm not sure whether you agree with me or not. I repeat, doing good deeds nowadays has become very risky. In Yisun, when was this? 2024. Singapore, Yisun, a doctor performed CPR on a patient at a clinic. And then he received 3 months suspension for allegedly not following protocol. But a life was saved. All right? So it get very risky for nothing. You follow your instinct, you get 3 months suspension. And then another example, in China, this was last year, July. In China, a teacher helped a collapsed woman on the street and was accused of groping her. Helped, but was accused of molesting her. So these are not isolated incidents. I'm sure there are more. They show a modern tragedy. The law and the fear of accusations are replacing human instinct and empathy. So people, what would they do? Nowadays, people freeze instead of helping. Kindness has become a dangerous action. So Lao Tzu's lessons here is very, very, very clear. That the pure, simple human heart, the instinct to help, cannot be traded, shouldn't be traded for fear, shouldn't be traded for rules, or shouldn't be traded for any surface appearances. And Lao Tzu end off this module, this chapter, reminding us that fear of legal or social consequences is teaching people not to be human. Morality is not in the rules, it's not in the titles, it's not in the formalities, right? It is in the raw, unpolished essence of being human. And there's a quiet lesson here. So Lao Tzu say, 少思寡欲, think less, desire less. It sounds simple, but in practice, it's very radical. Why? Because our minds are wired with private interests, our own interests, and our hearts are pulled by constant desires. So the moment we chase more than what we truly need, our natural goodness get clouded. Modern life bombards us with endless desires, like new gadget, status, symbols, social comparisons, so on and so forth. But Lao Tzu says focus on survival needs, reduce private agendas, act from conscience, I mean 良心, and uphold fairness. When you do that, your natural goodness will shine without effort. So stop overthinking, stop over desiring. Like say, Lao to say you can desire what you want to desire, but don't overindulge. So stop over desiring. Let your action come from conscience, your 良心, and common sense and good judgment, not from the ego or the craving. Your best life is very simple one, and it's already inside you. Remember in chapter 1, we talk about 名可名, 非常名. Then the name that can be named is not the eternal name. Lao Tzu is warning us that titles, fame, labels can kill the real essence. You think about it. When someone is put on the pedestal, worshipped like a savior, they stop being dynamic. Right? They become a statue, and statue can't move, can't adapt, can't stay alive in the flow of Tao. Look at the recent events. This guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, you know, hailed as the crypto genius, praised in magazine as the next Warren Buffett. So he was put up in the pedestal, okay, so high that few questioned him what he do until it all collapsed. The FTX collapsed. Fame blinded people to reality. So Lao Tzu's point is this: don't chase label, don't worship names. Okay, instead cultivate this historical awareness. Don't just remember dates, names. Read the patterns, read the deeper lessons behind them. Okay, so in the next module, module 5, which I think is the last module for today, Lao Tzu takes us deeper to the question: what really separates a saint, I mean a sage, from an ordinary person?